This is 13 Minutes. I'm Elliot Reeves. My guest today is Kyle Murtagh. Kyle, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, Elliot. I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show today. Appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. It's great to finally be speaking with you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming, right?
Yes. It's been a bit like something out of the Lord of the Rings trilogy or something like this. They can make a few films out of it, but we're here.
Excellent. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good. Just staying virus-free, staying healthy, and just trying to keep active as much as possible in this weird time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, good stuff. So for anyone that's watching who maybe isn't familiar with you, maybe just a quick introduction as to what you do and who what you're about.
Certainly. So what I do is I help people improve their presentation skills so that they get more results when they speak, usually in public. Now, the public's no longer there. So what I've been doing more of is speaking to camera, how to present effectively on Zoom or create short videos to market your business. So that's been my main focus during this period of time. Usually I'm doing webinars, also workshops in person, one-to-one stuff. But right now, solely focusing on the webinar side of things.
That's excellent. I've obviously connected with you on LinkedIn and various other platforms, and you posted a video the other day on TikTok, and I knew because it had the handle. So, and I'm on TikTok as well, although I don't really do much on it. So I was like, oh, I'll go and follow you. And I was like, oh my god, your following's pretty big. You've gone semi-famous.
Semi-famous. Nothing's changed. I'm still the same person, Elliot. Don't worry. No, TikTok's an interesting one. I started doing that really at the start of this year, actually. And it's just so organic. I mean, you post a video up and 600 people will view it basically automatically, which is crazy. It's kind of like Instagram, I guess, back in 2012. So just getting there first and seeing what happens.
What made you start there originally?
Well, Gary Vee, actually, he was ranting on about it quite a lot, how TikTok was going to be the big new thing. So I thought, why not check this out? I was very frustrated with Instagram and Facebook. The only platform I've had success on prior was LinkedIn, and I really like LinkedIn, still huge on that. But I'm looking to diversify a little bit. So I've created a YouTube channel recently. I enjoy YouTube quite a bit, getting regular videos out each week. And I was also thinking about something else. And TikTok popped up. I gave it a shot and things started to go quite well for me. So I've just kept doing that and still figuring it out. But enjoyable nonetheless. But there's a lot of weird videos out there, Elliot, so you gotta be careful.
It's a very, very diverse platform.
It is.
What, from your perspective, do you think are the keys to success on TikTok?
I think it's like most platforms, it's about the value you give. I mean, people go on any form of social media for three reasons, right? Either to be inspired, entertained, or to really be educated. And that's what you've got to think about doing. So I try to have a little bit of entertainment, but mostly education and a little bit of inspiration in there as well. And I think that's the golden recipe. And it's just a case of posting, right? That platform's so lively right now. If you just post on it, you're going to get results from it. That's really the key right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it would be remiss of me not to ask you about speaking and the excuse me, the kind of tips that you give to people. I know that you've been running a series of confidence on camera events online. So maybe just go through a couple of what are the main things that you think people can improve upon when it comes to their communication and their public speaking?
Yeah, well, in public speaking in general, usually it's things like body language and voice. I want to focus more on the online side of things because that's what we're doing right now.
Yes, it's very much more germane at the moment.
Indeed, indeed. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, and it's so simple, is they just don't look at the camera, right? And therefore, you're not making eye contact with your audience on the other side.
I'm guilty of that right now because my camera's up here.
Yeah.
You're down here, so sorry.
Yeah, no worries at all. I mean, I completely get it because all the information's on the screen right now. But this is kind of the equivalent, Elliot, of me in person looking at your neck instead of your eyes when talking to you.
It's true.
It's a little bit of a weird.
I know. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a weird feel. So that's certainly one thing. The other thing, when people are on camera, they get quite tense. I think they forget to smile, and a smile can do so much in terms of a good first impression, building that rapport as well, and also just making the screen really active, right? There's nothing worse than being someone who's very repressive, doing a long presentation like this because it's quite boring. But if you make the screen active for your gestures, for some of your movement, your voice changing as well, it makes it more engaging because this is harder than public speaking, but there are things you can do to hold people's attention in the environment, no doubt.
Excellent. What have you been doing to maintain a sense of routine and sanity throughout this lockdown period?
Well, I've been trying not to look at my hair, Elliot. That's one thing I've been doing. On a more serious note, I've been trying to keep into a routine, right? I make sure I still get up early in the morning like I would normally, and also exercising as well. I like to get a bit of exercise in each day. Boris allows me out once a day, so I make use of that. And I think these things are important because if you start to just, watch Netflix or binge eat or do things you wouldn't normally do, you're going to come out of this far further behind than when you went in. And we want to be ahead of things when we come out. So it's important to keep this routine in place to stay sane. And it's just about trying to stay positive. I mean, last week, to be honest with you, I was feeling a bit fed up. Same scene every day. I wanted to go a walk somewhere, like go see mountains, go to Loch Lomond, something like this, but you can't. And it is quite frustrating. And obviously money is quite tight as well for people. So less people are doing training with me. We're all feeling it in some way or another. So I was a bit fed up, but it's just a case of focusing on what you can control, isn't it? Because that's all you've got at the end of the day.
Precisely. It could obviously be a hell of a lot worse than it is, we still have our, freedom. Freedom's a state of mind, they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in Italy and Spain and places like this, they weren't even allowed outside of their houses. So, we're actually doing not too bad in considering that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I tend to like to think in sort of grand and, high-level ideas. And one of the main questions that I've been asking people is, how do they think the world might change on the back of what's happening just now with the entire, global pandemic situation?
Well, I think there's going to be a huge switch to being more online. I think people can see tools like this and Zoom and other platforms, they work, right? They really do work. And I mean, on a smaller scale in my own business, I can see me doing a lot more online training. I'm going to continue to do webinars and have meetings with people online. Because if you think about it, it takes half an hour to drive somewhere to then buy a coffee for someone you don't really know, and then half an hour drive back. It can be over 2 hours that you've spent there when you can just have a 30-minute Zoom call. So I think on a small level, things like that will change. On a bigger level, it's really hard to say. I think there's going to be a long time before people become comfortable getting close to each other. But I think when they do, they're going to appreciate it a lot more. There's going to be a greater appreciation for what we've been missing out on, going outside, being able to go to the gym, these small activities. It's the small things I think people will appreciate more going forward.
Yeah. This is a slightly more egocentric, perhaps, view of the same question, but it's really from your own point of view, what changes would you like to see in the world?
Egocentric's always a good point of view, Elliot. Well, I think what I would like, and maybe it's not so egocentric, is I would really like it if people looked more inward. Okay? Because people, I think, are so busy so much of the time that they just let things pass them by and they don't realize some problems they're currently having. A lot of people, they're really unhappy, but they just do nothing about it. This is the opportunity to do something about it. So I would really like to see people appreciate the power that they have themselves, because it's not the government that's going to get you out of this. It's not your friends, your family, it is you. You've got to figure out whether you be a business owner or employee. It is down to you to make the best of this and bring yourself out of it in a better place than you went in. So I hope people realize their own power. That would be what I really would hope for. I don't know if it will happen, but I certainly think it's highlighting a few things.
Has this heightened your awareness of anything specific in your own life that you think you want to change going forward?
In my own life, it's highlighted some things. I think I myself, I get too caught up in my work, and I should probably reach out to people more. I've spent quite a bit of time talking to some of my family members, which I would not usually talk to. And yeah, from that point of view, I need to focus more of that time on family, on friends, areas in that respect, because that's important too in life. And I think you need that. It is a balancing act. It's a hard one to get right, but that's something I would certainly focus on as well. It's also affirmed some things for me, this time off. It showed me that I am right in some areas. For instance, I started doing this speaking to camera stuff about a year ago, Elliot, and no one was interested in it at all. Like, no one, right? So I felt pretty dejected, but now everyone is. And it's just a case of, I did have something there. It was just the timing. So learning more about timing and different ways of business like that too.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, I'd have thought that confidence on camera would be something that anyone would want regardless.
Well, I mean, maybe I wasn't reaching the right people, but I had to cancel a couple of events. That's how bad it was.
Is that right?
Yeah, seriously. There was just no interest there. And I guess it's when people are thrown into a situation it's also taught me lessons in business as well. If there's not a market, then there's no one to, sell your product or service to, no matter how good it is. So it's about being aware who your customer is at the same time. So there's so many things like that I've learned. This has also given me time to reflect on some of the things I have in my business. Like my website, I looked back on it the other week there and thought, yeah, this needs an upgrade. So I've been working on that. I've had the time to do things like that. And I'm sure yourself with your own business, you found that too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I think having some sort of, it's been, I guess, on the cards for a long time, but this has fast-tracked me bringing some sort of online product to market. And I'm still refining that, but that won't be long until there's something available.
Yeah
That's for sure.
But
and certainly, playing around with this type of format, because doing more of the live streaming was always something that and sort of online broadcasting, if you like, is something that I've wanted to get into, but this is really, again, sort of provided the conduit for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't, but I think this period of time has really promoted everybody's creativity, right? It has given us
massively.
Yeah. I'm seeing so many people doing lots of different things, and it's great. And I think that's something missing when we're just going so fast all the time in one direction, when there's this whole other world out here which we could have explored earlier, but we are now.
Yeah. What single piece of advice would you give to anyone that was having a difficult time just now and just struggling with things, as you were saying yourself, you were starting to get to the end of your tether with it?
Yeah. Look, it is tough. I mean, like I say, it's a bad situation. For a lot of people, the money is not coming in, the opportunities aren't as well. Some people don't even know if they're going to have a job to go back to, but I think truly what you can only control, you have to focus on what you can only control, and specifically focus on that next step, right? The next step on the day that you're currently in. What is the next thing you can do to help yourself moving forward? Now, that might be, looking at a video online. It might be reading a book. It might be exercising. Do something for yourself. I think it is important to be there for the community in this time, but it's also important to be selfish. You need to do something which will help you, because ultimately you're the person who can help the others around you and bring yourself forward. So I would focus on the small steps that you can control and try to silence the noise. Maybe stay away from the news and don't look in the mirror if you've got a bad hairstyle.
Don't speak to me about hairstyles. Jeez. Mine's just hanging on.
I was looking up, the buzzers you can get to like shave your hair, but there's a 3-week waiting list on that. So
probably a good thing.
Yeah,
saved you.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
question coming from Gary Farmer. Serious question: are there big brands on TikTok? There's certainly big brands doing paid ads. You see them quite regularly. Yeah, I think there are big brands on TikTok. I'm sure there are.
Yeah, there are big brands out there. They're doing some ads. TikTok's quite an interesting platform because they've got different ways of ways you can make money. I know there's almost like a where you can go live and then people can give you tips. I haven't tried that out yet, but there is that option. I have been approached by a couple of different brands, if you like, but it's not been something I'm interested in doing at all. But the opportunity is out there. It's just a case of posting. I'm not even taking it very seriously. I'm posting like 1 or 2 videos a week. I really should do more, but it's just hard to always come up with the ideas. But you maybe to find out yourself, Elliot, finding stuff to post about all the time. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, I mean, that's why I guess perhaps I default to this because it's easier than having to think of things myself.
And then you can take little clips from these out.
Well, there's definitely that as well. Yeah, I mean, it's like the dummy's guide to creating content. Sit down, speak to someone, and then repurpose it in 100 different social platforms.
yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad way.
There's another question on that's coming through Periscope. Laith Haddad, he says, "What's your thoughts on Bitcoin?" Geez, I don't know if we'd have time to go into that.
Well, Haddad, I know nothing about Bitcoin, so I can't help you out there, buddy. I'm afraid. Elliot, you got anything? Say.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It might be a sales pitch. You never know. And then. Yeah, no, this has been honestly a great conversation. I'm just noticing we're overrunning the times quite a lot. This is going to be 18 minutes with Elliot Reeves by the look of it.
Come on, that's this selling the product here, Elliot.
where can people find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. Type in my name, Kyle Murtagh. Second name spelled Murtagh. And you can get me on TikTok if you want as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm up there too. Can be found.
Awesome. David McRae didn't realize this was happening. David, it's happening.
It's happening,
Get
David.
Involved. It's happening. This is no joke.
18 minutes with Elliot Reeves.
Well, Kyle, I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Please look after yourself, stay safe, and I look forward to catching up again soon.
Yes, thank you, sir. Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you soon.
Cheers.